Welcome in YouTube, it's Juicy going over some exciting things. So we're going to go over the war season and the CC season. Obviously there's the one a little bit more exciting than the other for the majority of the player base. But I will touch on the war one first to get that out of the way. I'll come in October the 21st. We have Bump in the Night. This is going to be a shorter season. The focus of this one's obviously going to be Night Stalkers, and then so Night Stalkers on offense are going to apply trauma on the primary hit or on defense. You see that there's also one for Bifrost and then attacking islands for everything, right? So their goal is Bifrost. Not that cool. So we got four. Some of the things to notice: Medbay is basically the same thing. Armory, non-mythic mystic hero allies. So there's quite a bit of heroes that can go into this that would fit well beyond just your Asgardians. You got your Eternals. Um, let's see here. You got your oh, I mean, the other one will be Nor. Nor is going to be pretty good, useful there. But other than that, just going to draw a blank here, not thinking too much about these. So the primary thing is going to be, and most of these are very generic, non-mystic mystic heroes is the cargo base. You're going to see a lot of mystics on defense, but that is just a stat boost, so it's not going to be too cumbersome in comparison to the last few. It's definitely much more of an offensive meta, um, but it's definitely trying to force that Night Stalkers onto defense. So we'll see how that goes. Moving on to the next thing is going to be the CC Crucible rules. So this is what the bread and butter on my channel is. So we're going to spend a little bit more time than war, right? I just kind of went through war, just going over that, right? Main thing for that was just build up your Night Stalkers. They're going to be useful in war, and they're going to be useful in Crucible. So they are trying to really, really sell that as Night Stalkers. Starting with the stage rules: zombies or vampires versus zombies. Night Stalker characters are going to gain 20% damage on offense and defense when attacking a character with bleed, gain one offense up. And dying characters are going to be interesting. They're going to gain 20% health, and then when attacking a character, they're going to with bleed, they're going to gain defense up, which will be really helpful. Um, on defense, this is the usual stuff. So the big ones, let's start with room one. So fortifiers, healers, when they hit, they're going to drop a vulnerable, and then strikers, they're going to drop 3 vulnerables. So they're actually going to use one, so they're going to double tap automatically. So you have to worry about the striker skirmisher, and then they're going to absorb 1 to attack. And then all of the characters, so that's your raider, right? They're going to give 2. So raiders are going to automatically give 2. Sometimes they're going to give 3, obviously, if they're thing procs. So that's how that is going to work. And then skirmisher will give you the +2. So I don't see skirmisher unless you're trying to make sure that something lands. Will be used very much. I think you're going to be using a lot of strikers in this room. And the big one is that basically the teams that are punching bags are going to grow and grow, and they're going to be a time bomb because when they attack, they're going to use all their vulnerables and do 100% extra damage. So basically, it's like a super offense up. So the teams that I'm thinking that are mainly going to take advantage of this are the newer teams that have a lot of stats. So your Annihilators won't be using vulnerables, but your Night Stalkers and your Orcus. So whichever one you don't put in the inevitable raid room is going to be the one you're probably going to put in room 1. Just a heads up, that is what it is. But that's just my thoughts on room 1. Room 2, pretty interesting, right? So when a villain attacks, they're going to drop defense down, and when a hero attacks, they're going to apply offense down. So this can be really helpful for new warriors to get a little bit of an edge on teams, right? Because you're not worrying about whether the offense down or that extra one's going to rewind. So that's going to help them out a little bit. I don't think it's going to help them that much as helping the defense help putting offense down and stuff like that. Okay. The one that we saw this coming with 2 raid teams back to back coming, that raid on Crucible is back. The envoys in general, and in my opinion, is the raid room is not a fun one. Eventually, we're going to see a out of Night Stalkers and Orcus, which one's better on defense. You're going to figure out that, you're going to put Odin, or you're going to put North Star, or you're going to put Mephisto, or you can put Dorm, right? It's probably going to be North Star, Odin, or Mephisto with your Night Stalkers, your Orcus team in room 3, and that's pretty much what's going to live there for the rest of the season. And then you're going to figure out a counter to it, and then we're going to just do that over and over again. It is what it is. least favorite room. Not going to be a lot of changes there. We'll figure that out. I'm going to start with Night Stalker or with Orcus because I did not buy Night Stalkers. So we'll see how that goes for me. And I'll go over a example defense at the end of this. Stage 4 is flashbangs. So with blind, characters lose 5% speed, and then ultimate abilities apply blind on the primary target. So you're going to see a lot of speed characters that work really well here. So I actually had the Nor comp in here of Mephisto Nor, right? Because that opens up with that Nor going super fast and leaving out some vulnerables there. So our blinds, so that slow down the team. Super Scroll doesn't get to his ult as fast, but Nor is a great character to put in here because of that annoyance. 5 Unholy Alliance. We have Unlimited with Masters of Evil. This is a weird room. Not sure if it had been Extreme X-Men, this would have been broken. So I'm happy it's just Unlimited and they're starting off with that. The biggest thing is that means that tunes like Kang, Titania, and Absorbman are going to have extra health, extra armor, and then they're going to have Safeguard. I think that more often than not, this is going to help somebody using these two teams together on offense to beat whatever's in this room. But I think people are definitely going to try to put Masters of Evil with Extreme on defense in this room. But I think it's going to quickly become a room that is blank, and you're going to keep being limited and Masters of Evil in offense to put them together to beat whatever's in flag. Room 6 is Upstog won the last tournament, and so he gets to choose the room. This time it is reduce all healing for 100%, spell Safeguard, immunity, and defense up. This is going to be brutal for the defense. I think you're going to run into a lot of problems with the Safeguard and immunity. You're going to have definitely Ares is going to be super important, and I think Apocalypse obviously is going to be super important in helping to counter these rooms. But you're going to see some pretty nasty rooms in here, especially ones that are super fast and do a lot of damage. That's the rooms. See if there's anything else. And so that's coming October 19th. The first trial's the 20th, so we have some changes. So after we got next week, finish the season strong, and then we'll hit the big ones. Okay. Alrighty. So now let's go over some ideas for what I quick thoughts. Like, this is not my final thoughts. I will do a second video once I get some time to digest this, think about it more, based off of what I have unlocked right now. So I think the first thing is room 1. I'm gonna put Night Stalkers in here with Dorm. Again, they're gonna pile up that vulnerables, and then they're gonna be able to unleash a crazy amount of damage. But I do worry that my Night Stalkers are gonna need it on offense to damage the opposing team. To kill whatever's in the raid room, because obviously that means my Orcus is going in room 3. There are some teams that can possibly beat it. Now, the reason their North Star is important is because straight Orcus is going to probably lose to Hive Mind Super Scroll. I'm probably going to pull Super Scroll from room 4, but I'm leaving him there because of just time constraints, because I'm to put all my defense back together. The playtest wasn't ready. So I think that this is a solid choice. I think Night Stalkers or Orcus or even Annihilators. The biggest thing is it got your stops the vulnerable things from happening. But those 3 teams that have those new stats will be in room 1, and then the next team that follows after the Night Stalkers. Right, the Night Stalker team is almost done. This season is going to pretty much project past it, right? Because we have the last tune coming 2 weeks in, so we'll start getting that next team and those reworks, and we'll start putting them into this room and utilizing them in room 1. Room 2, I have Mephisto with Nor. Now, if I was to actually put this on defense, I think I'd actually switch 2 and 4. I think 4 for Flashbang is going to be a little bit better. Raid on Crucible, again, I said was going to be North Star. But these are kind of interchangeable. These are kind of the blank rooms, the nothing rooms. I think people are gonna try room 5. I think this is kind of the strongest comp, right? So you have that safeguard and immunity, safeguard and stuff on defense. You don't have immunity, so I think that you can get pretty much. The biggest thing is you may be able to beat this with new warriors, but you're gonna get stuck on that Absorbing Man's taunt. He's gonna have a ton of health, so we'll see how that goes. If it ends up being more like if they turn it to extreme, I think this will be definitely a much more interesting room because you'll have that defense up. I think that on offense this will be crazy because this team would actually all spawn with offense up, so you're gonna have that Gambit and Rogue with speed up is going to be super powerful. So I think that this room will probably be an offensive team, and I'll just use whatever's on it. Room 6 is going to be brutal. I think we're going to start seeing Odin in this room with the Illuminati. It's going to be super difficult to kill, especially getting into there. Now the biggest thing is, does drain matter, and then also um, how does those things work? And then people are going to attempt to get through this with that good old Oban Lugan's Spirit 6. And I think the problem is the defense up might be too cumbersome for them to get through this. And then once they start rolling, they're going to kill you. But that will be interesting to see what this turns out. I'm really not sold on 6. The only rooms I'm pretty sure on that I'm going to be running on week 1 is probably 3. And then I'll probably put 2 somewhere between, probably move 2 in there. So there's probably only 2 locked rooms right now for me. Um, room 3 and room 4. But again, just follow me and like and subscribe. And then also make sure to come check out my video on what defenses to run for next season, next weekend on Sunday, when I have time to digest this a little bit more. Just got the blog, wanted to go over that. And just give y'all my thoughts, and best of luck in y'all's last week. Make sure to push hard for that whatever space you're in, right? I'm pushing for top 100, actually locked it in this week. But make sure to push for whatever you're going for. Later, y'all.